Hello and welcome, Speed Gaming, to another Link to the Past Randomizer tournament, round of 64 match. Today we have Voosh versus Linlinlin. My name is Tracy M. With me today is Tiru. How are you doing, Tiru?
I'm doing very well, Tracy. It's a pleasure to finally get the opportunity to join you on commentary today.
Oh, absolutely. The pleasure will be mine too. So we'll be doing good, I hope. This is game 2, and we are doing standard mode. So we will get a guaranteed weapon from our uncle. Maybe we'll get some other good stuff too. And hopefully we'll get at least a bomb drop somewhere so we don't have to worry about the back of escape.
I'm sure we'll have mutually enjoyable commentary. The standard mode is it's a classic. It's my personal favorite. I like standard mode because I like kind of easing into the game. It's always tough on commentary because you basically have 10 minutes here we have to fill for. So hopefully we'll get some really cool early progression items, give us something to talk about.
Yeah, and to answer the question in chat, yes, Linlinlin, as you can see by the little filled-in Triforce, did win game 1. That seed was fairly linear, not a whole lot of route divergence between the two runners, just little things here and there that Voosh did differently. Maybe a couple extra check here or there that made the difference. Only a 3-minute difference at the end. So we'll see how this turns out with the standard mode setting. The winner of this match, this is the 29 seed Voosh versus 36 Linlinlin, and the winner will play number 4 Bwain, who's already gone into the round of 32. Okay, so we just got arrows in our first chest. Gonna head over to the uncle.
Hopefully we'll make it there. Blue King.
Okay,
all right, Blue
here we
King.
go. Yeah, that's always an interesting start. You're gonna have to watch your magic a little bit, but it does work. It's not bombs, which always makes me happy when I'm doing these.
Well, finding the boots there is really nice early item to find. Not a progression item at this point, but just for ease of use and convenience. Just getting around this game without boots is such a pain.
Well, they'll be able to check bonk rocks right away when they get to Sanctuary on their way to Kakariko, so that'll be nice too.
It's definitely one more opportunity to route that in, and you will probably see both players do the lumberjack check. It's one of those things that you don't normally see some players do until they get boots, but with boots in hand, that makes the Kakariko Forest route pretty much guaranteed, I think.
And a piece of heart. So far, nothing super interesting.
So it's interesting that you were saying that their first race was a very linear seed, with Voosh having lost and picking standard mode. That kind of guarantees you at least a linear opening. So there's even less opportunity for variation.
Yeah, the only variation you'll see in standard is if one runner gets bombs and the other one doesn't. That can be pretty important depending on what's in that back of escape and when the other runner decides to go back there.
Yeah, that's a good point. And with the Cane of Burna as our only weapon, that decreases the opportunity for bomb farming. There are different item pools between the green guards and the ropes and the bats, but there's very little opportunity for them to really do extensive farming just with so little magic.
Yeah, and chat make a good point. They actually have the boots, so it's actually irrelevant where they get bombs.
Oh,
I'm not used to having boots in standard mode,
Thank you, chat. Gosh, that's so embarrassing. I feel like I have to turn my commentator badge in.
It happens. It happens to me all the time.
That's a shame. That was the only thing that we had to possibly get variation for.
I know,
in the next 5 minutes, and Chet just tears it away.
I guess one of them could have skipped the boots, but yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
No, definitely not. And neither player is doing any more. I was just saying any more bomb farming, despite having the boots, which obviously, guess we do acknowledge they can get the back of escape. They still want bombs for Kakariko because they need money to buy them.
That's a really good point. They do want those, and that's normal for any mode. Worst case, well, they want bombs or rupees because the worst, if they could buy them, that's fine too.
Yeah, given the way that the logic changed, and now that you have to buy all your bomb upgrades, there's so many more bombs in chests. Yep. That between escape and then the well and blindside, like you're almost guaranteed to find bombs in one of those locations.
Almost, but not quite. And sometimes those 3 bombs just don't get very far. Yeah, Voosh a little bit ahead at the moment. So might be able to take a lead coming out of here. So, might be turn out to be a good choice on his part to go ahead and do the standard mode.
Yeah, this almost feels like...
lead.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying it almost feels like an NMG race where somebody pulls ahead by 1 room and you can call it like an hour in.
Yeah, nice with that blue key. You don't have to figure out which rat is the rat key or key rat. Just kill them all.
I'll admit I wasn't paying attention for a second, and the burn that looked like a master sword spell. I was like, when did they get the master sword?
And did I see it? I saw a quake medallion and a heart container. So that quake may or may not be useful. Heart container, always good to find early.
Yeah, Quake can let them get bonk items out of trees, which also they don't need to do with having the boots. So another redundant item.
Yep. But if it's the medallion that opens one of our dungeons, then we definitely want to have it now. And just 50 rupees at the sanctuary chest, but at the very least, that'll allow them to buy some bombs in Kakariko if they can't get them elsewhere.
Yeah, we probably will see, the standard checks, tree pull prize, the bush crab, and hopefully one of those guys will give us bombs. But we do get to see our first overworld check of the game on the bonk rocks here.
Yeah, not the normal first check.
Those boots gave us access. Yeah, those boots gave us access to 10 arrows.
Oh boy. Well, if we get a bow, we'll be able to shoot arrows. Well, when we get a bow.
Now we already have 25.
Ooh, and a big 20 set of a tree pull there for Voosh and also for Lin.
Yeah, both players having killed more than enough enemies and taken damage to get the tier 2 prize. But we killed one more guy on Lin's side, so the next tree should be tier 1. We'll see what Voosh gets, having not killed anybody.
Okay, we're not going to be doing Aga for the item because that's just a big 20.
And the bush crab just had bombs, so hopefully we'll get some bombs here either sitting out there. Nope, mushroom is just another 20. And then we still have the Thieves' Hideout.
Interesting, Voosh decides to pick it up, take the extra time. Lin decides to leave it. Early on, it's not unusual to wind... Oh, a hook shot. Not unusual to take those big 20s early. I don't have the Zora money yet, but much happier with that hook shot, I'm sure.
Yeah, one just probably just wanted to make sure they had enough for both buying bombs and for bottle vendor.
Yeah, both of them have it, so it'll be good. It might be a while before they get to Zora money, but who knows when we'll actually get to that.
So normally, hookshot this early in the game is a nice mobility item, but once again, boots makes that pretty much redundant. And Lin doing the bonk there, which gives them the guaranteed single bomb. It's enough to get through blindside. That's nice.
Voosh is just gonna go ahead and buy those bombs. Also, one of the really nice things about getting that hook shot is when they get to mini Moldorm cave, they can just use the hook shot to kill those Moldorms. They don't have to worry about bombs. And of course, we just see a sword, an ice rod. No ice rod hunt today. That makes me happy.
Yeah, guaranteed sword as soon as you say we can use the hook shot to kill the mini Moldorms.
Although, I still really like the hook shot for the mini Moldorm, so that's really not a bad, still a good thing.
The hook shot also lets them one cycle the dam pickup, so that's
Yep.
a nice screen transition you can save. But unfortunately, no bombs in Blind Hut, so Lynn's going to have to go buy them as well.
So far, not much in the, well, except a lot of money. A whole lot of money. Well, there's our Zora money and pretty much the money for the rest of the seed.
That's was it 950 in that one location? That's the most I've seen in one spot. That is insane. Voosh got to the next spot before it even finished incrementing. I feel really sorry for Blind, because like this is Blind's hut where the thieves' hideout is, and all the money is right next door in an unprotected well.
Like how have they missed that? Like, these aren't good thieves. How did they miss all that money?
Yeah, it's like their GPS was just off by 10 meters.
Oh, and another thing you don't see very often from Voosh, usually you grab all those rupees because it's so early in the game. You want the full 30 rupees there. But he just got all that money. He doesn't need it.
Yeah, we're done. I mean, unless we need to buy like 12 blue potions, we're pretty much done on money for this seed.
And another nice thing about having the boots early is we are going to be able to get the library item right away.
Yeah, I mean,
not going to tease us.
Only way this could have been better is if we got the bottle and the flute hitting in the Kakariko. Yeah. So we're going to have to come back here. Oh!
And there's the bottle. So do you go turn that in now? I mean, especially with boots.
Yeah, so Triforce on the race game. I'm calling it now.
And Voosh decides he is going to turn it in. Let's see if Lynn decides the same. Nope, just going to head over to the race game. And going to blind check it too. Which I kind of like, because when you have the race game, there's so many in-between items that if you're already in the middle of the game, you pick up, and if you're not, you don't.
We're probably going to find the flute here, so then Lynn can only go back. Oh my gosh! What the heck?
Poor Voosh went back for that bottle. He's not blind checking. He's going to check it.
I can't believe that happened. Oh my gosh. So Voosh bombed the bottle vendor for having to make him come all the way back up here. What are we going to see happen to the duck? Maybe a quake. This is a great Kakariko. I love this.
It really is.
So I normally like to spend a lot of my time as commentator doing like route predictions and stuff, but I think we should just stop. I mean, our power is we're too dangerous.
We have a flute now though, so we have lots of choices.
Yeah,
see where Lynn goes.
I'm actually legit scared to speculate on where they're gonna go.
And Lynn heading over to the eastern area. It is a pendant. I completely missed when they did the map check. Fortunately, our tracker did not. Shout outs to our tracker. Doing the hard work behind the scenes. Looks like Dudurk being our tracker today, so thank you for doing that.
I was looking up the tracker's name pronunciation as well, because The
Yeah, I didn't
Discord
think.
name is different.
No, that's what I was figuring. I'm like, I'm gonna check that one out.
Yeah, I'm. Trekkers are the true heroes, but Hammer. Oh my gosh, Hammer in the cave.
Oh, that actually might be a while before Lynn gets to that. Although with the flute, it's a lot easier to go check it. Interesting that Voosh decided to go there first.
Yeah, that's not an unreasonable check. You can check the desert ledge and a Genus cave. That is a really one-off difficult check without the flute, though. But this is just silly. I mean, flute and the boots. The mini Moldorm got stuck and Lynn still missed the bomb. That's
happens.
A point of shame.
Arrows, rupees, more rupees, and a piece of heart. So really not a whole lot in the mini Moldorm cave.
It seems we had such a generous Kakariko, though. I don't expect there to be any progression in mini Moldorm cave. That's normally our light world hype cave.
And Lynn gonna go ahead and check the Ice Rod cave.
So there was an item in the festive randomizer which gave you 9,999 rupees. We're on our way to reach that in this scene.
Really, I played about three or four of those. I didn't get that item.
You had to solve the Gans Tower logic.
Yeah, I had people help me out with that. I just couldn't quite get it.
I just watched someone else do it. But
yeah.
Nice. I love this for what Lynn's doing here. The buffered water walk, one of my favorite tricks that you do coming out of there with the boots. It's a very, very efficient way to check these early locations. And without the Moon Pearl, the way to get the waterfall cave here. And Voosh setting up for the same trick.
Yeah, I like this especially because we have so much money. You might as well spend it on Zora now. And we get a Bombos, which might be useful. So spend it on Zoro now. Don't have to worry about that check later. You can check the ledge here. I don't know if they have enough items to set up a splash deletion, but it's just a single arrow, so we don't care.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do that. I've only seen it done with the 3 hours and double bombs.
I think that's maybe the most common way. And then there's things you can do with the red boomerang as well on Canis Samaria. We don't have any of those items, and no bow, so I don't think you can do it just bombs. So I don't think it would have been an option. So nice that we don't have to worry about it.
I think this is the first time where Zora has scammed us out of 480 rupees, and nobody cares at all. It's like, just take it. I wasn't going to spend that. I like that both of them did the exact same sequence breaks.
And now we're going to see another one from Lynn because we're going to get that old man. The rest of the mountain is in logic because we have the flute. The item for the old man is not in logic, but we do still want to rescue him so we get that save quit spot for later.
Absolutely. Much, much easier to get back up here. And this is, while this is definitely a sequence break without the lamp, it's not a difficult sequence break to do.
Especially with that sword.
Yeah, this is really hard to do without the sword beams, but once you do this once or twice, it's pretty simple. And there's so many items up here.
There are a few other items that aren't too bad to use with it, but yeah, if you have the sword, it's no problem whatsoever. Especially for runners at this caliber.
Absolutely. So Lynn missed the duck.
But did he, okay, maybe he forgot about that hook shot, because maybe he was going to leave right away and say, oh wait, I have a hook shot, so I might as well check all this. But it looks like he's going to check Spectacle Rock first.
That makes sense. We can only get the one item in the rock, but we can at least see that there's just a heart piece on top, so we don't care about that.
And this is going to make a little bit of difference. Voosh has that hammer, so we'll be able to go over to Hera after using that hook shot to get across. Lynn will not, unless he finds a mirror, and then he'd have to backtrack to do it.
That is a very good point. With Hera being a crystal, it would be really convenient just to get those items and also just declare it while you're here. The only thing you're really orphaning at that point is the ether tablet.
Yeah, although, of course, don't have fire, so that basement could be fire locked. We do have boots and the hookshot, so we might see a Herapod.
Well, I'm just assuming that because we need fire, we're going to get it.
Well, we will at some
that
point.
seems
You have to
good.
get it. I mean, the seed guarantees that I should say, the game guarantees that you get at least one of fire rod and lamp. And actually, technically, if you completely follow the logic, you will always get a lamp.
Yeah, and this seed guarantees that we'll get it exactly when we need it. So it'll be in the first chest in Hera, probably.
Oh, there's a master sword.
Not a bad constellation prize. Temper incoming.
Just a boomerang. Which is not a bad prize.
A nice setup for this bomb jump. Not one of the harder ones, but it's definitely a good idea to do it.
It's one of the more annoying ones, though, if you fall, since you do have to climb up the stairs or choose to go the normal vanilla route, so to speak.
Absolutely. Without Dark World access, there's really no efficient way to route in the spiral cave here. Lin, doing it now because I guess he has to basically save and quit. Voosh is going to have to actually choose, though. Do it and climb back up, or just come back and do it after Hera, or just save it for later.
I suspect he'll do it after, but of course, he also has to choose between... Oh, he's going to do it now. Interesting. He also, in essence, would have to choose between this and Spike Cave, which... Oh, wait. Can't do it. No Moon Pearl. Would have to choose between Spike Cave if we see a Moon Pearl, say, in Tower of Hera, but... Decides to do it now. Maybe he's going to decide to do Tower of Hera later.
And so surprisingly little value up there on the mountain today. But this was going to give Lin the hammer in the Sagina's Cave check, so that gets them back on track. So we have, places we haven't seen. We haven't seen Eastern Palace, and we haven't seen Tower of Hera yet.
I believe that's about it. Because, I usually this is where I start talking about going into escape, but we did that because it's standard mode.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, did we leave? Did one person only do the front of escape? Or no, wait, we did all of escape. Zelda in tow.
So, Lin not losing quite as much time because Voosh did decide to do Spiral Cave before Hera. Maybe he thought that Spiral Cave might give him that fire source that he's missing.
That's a good thought. Could definitely avoid having to, double dip the area.
Oh, but, and there are some gloves.
Gloves. Yeah, nice.
Which key are we going to get? We are getting the big key, so we get to go forward. But going to do Herapod anyway, because we have the items for it.
I do really like this Herapod glitch. The first time I saw this, I was just like, what the hell did you do that?
Yeah, it's still amazing to me that a game that's almost 30 years old, still finding new stuff. Between this and the Ancilla stuff with the splash deletion.
Absolutely. I said the same thing back in my first tournament, not even 2 years ago, when we found the spooky glitch mid-tournament. I was just, how'd you find new stuff for the game this old? Yeah, Lin also doing the same exact setup here to avoid the basement.
Looks like he's having had a little more trouble with it. Still gets it. Probably still a time save over climbing up.
So we saw both items in the dungeon because we got the gloves and then there were just the bombs there. So we're definitely done this dungeon.
Yeah, don't have to worry about that fire source for now. We'll have to worry about it eventually.
Yeah, and with the gloves, they were not behind the fire source, so we really don't have to mentally keep track of this as a sequence break. We're just picking up the crystal now rather than later. But as far as the runners are concerned, nothing to keep track of logic-wise.
Yeah, and that gives us Death Mountain. Dark World acts as minus Moon Pearl. So that Moon Pearl, probably over in the eastern area. There is that small chance that they have a Master Sword. If we find a lamp instead, that Moon Pearl could be sitting on the pyramid and could still be an Agaseed. Don't see that very often, but they do come up on occasion.
That would be a shame if this far into such a wonderful seed it became an Agassiz. You're right, it's possible. This is Lynn's second attempt on Moldorm. Moldorm was a little bit trolly the first time. Well, Moldorm's always trolly. This is also the first check from Sashrala from Voosh's side. Lynn just gave us these items and didn't do Eastern.
And all right, got to go to Pendant Eastern.
I thought Lynn froze there because that was a long crystal hole.
I swear some of those scenes feel longer without sound, since we have the sound of Voosh's side.
I always have to watch the timer to see if the staff is using that as an opportunity to sync the timers. That's what I do when I restream. Is I use those as pause moments.
That's a good idea.
25 minutes in, we're basically a room apart, and have done all of the exact same checks.
Yeah, the only difference.
Sorry.
Yeah, only real difference was Lynn got to did the mountain, then went back to Agina to get the hammer, and then went back up. Voosh, on the other hand, did Agina, then went to the mountain.
It's a little disappointing, to be honest. I like when there's a little bit more opportunities for divergences.
Yeah, me
but
too.
This is bottlenecked at a single location.
And we've already gotten the big key. So the items, the big chest will be in. Oh, I didn't get a book. That's not what they wanted to see. I mean, granted, they can full clear. No, they can't full clear desert until they get fire.
Yeah, I mean, we could still potentially, find a fire source in desert.
Could find that lamp before that Moon Pearl and still have to do Aga. So, lots of things could happen here.
Well, if we find a fire source and the book in this dungeon, I think it's pretty clear desert is definitely our next location.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't think they'll have much of a choice, even if they don't find that fire source. Yeah,
that's definitely a case of stating the obvious on my part there. It's the filler commentary when you're in between thoughts.
Tempered sword. Okay, so the progression is the book. We are going to go check the last item here, or if it is an item, could be. I think we've seen one of map compass, but this is out of logic, so not likely going to be anything that we're gonna. It could be something good, but it's not going to be the intended progression.
Well, we did find. Yeah, I was gonna say we did find the big key, so we can go to kill the boss, but that will still be out of logic because we don't have the fire source.
Well, and we don't have a bow either, so.
Oh yeah, we don't have a bow either, but we have plenty of arrows, and we can just chuck them at
there you
boss.
Go. And just 5 rupees. But I believe that's all the items, so at least they don't have to come back here unless there's some unless they have some unless it's a pet seed. But I don't like to predict that early. They just don't happen that often.
Yeah, let's not go down that road.
No, not at all. Okay, Voosh starting over at the mountain, but no doubt going to the desert area.
This is Voosh's third trip to desert.
Something like that. Oh, and chat making a really interesting point because that book opens up that ether tablet back up the mountain. Neither one going for it at the moment. I like the choice of going to desert because the ether tablet, if desert doesn't have what you need, at least you've cleared a crystal dungeon out.
Yeah, assuming we get a fire source in here.
Yeah, assuming we get that fire source. Yep, absolutely.
This is not a very long dungeon, so we're gonna find out pretty soon whether we get progression or not.
Well, at least the game gave us boots, so we don't have to worry about that. Not gonna be boots locked, or even if it is, we just don't care. Blue mail, it's a nice upgrade.
This dungeon was designed as the boots training ground, so coming in here without the boots is particularly painful.
And both items on the east side, and nothing that helps us. Don't get me wrong, blue mail is nice. Linlinlin's character now wearing a pretty blue dress. I don't know what character that is. Maybe chat can help me out there. But yeah, not gonna get us any further. So Voosh heading straight back to Death Mountain. This will be essentially his third trip. They're both their third trips. Just Voosh did it because he decided to do Spiral Cave before Tower of Hera. Lin because he got the hammer a little bit later. But it's a whole lot of Death Mountain climbing, and we're about what? We're not even 30 minutes in.
Yeah, so Prim from Secret of Mana is what chat says. That or
there we go.
Girl from Secret of Mana, but apparently Prim's the name. I never played Secret of Mana, and everyone says I have to go back and play that.
Yeah, I've heard similar.
Oh, okay, so it was unnamed, and they named her Prim in the remake. That makes sense.
Ah, got you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get screamed at for like 20 minutes now because every time I say I didn't play it, I get punished for it.
Voosh just anxious to get that book going. And what are we gonna get? And it's a moon pearl.
Oh!
Breathe a sigh of relief, because the other option was the lamp. And as much as the lamp is nice, it would make this an Agaseed, with most likely a moon pearl or something to get you to the moon pearl on the pyramid. And we see a pendant, a green pendant pod. I did not see the other pendant.
I missed it as well, but I'm sure the tracker will mark it pretty soon. Voosh immediately doing the Spike Cave play makes a lot of sense while you're here.
Looks like Lynn's doing it as well.
Doing the same thing. That's the thing about this seed is they've both making the exact same sequence breaks. Like you come out of Ice Rod Cave with the boots, you do that fake flipper. These are really, really obvious plays. Jesus.
Oh, and that's a mirror. That's important. Okay, looks like our other pendant is Ice Palace, which is I'm not gonna lie, it's a nice one to be able to skip.
So I was just thinking a minute ago, I was saying that the only disadvantage they have of having Dark World access now is that they don't have the mirror, so they can't do optimal routing. I'm like, I'm not going to say that because then the mirror is going to show up.
And it did.
It didn't make a difference. It didn't make a difference. It showed up anyway. But once again, you do the obvious play. You do Hype Cave. You do the southern route to Digging Game. If you get the mids, you go north in the Kakariko. No opportunities for really good divergences.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could instead start in the village and work your way down. That's a pretty common route as well. But no, these guys, they obviously think alike because we didn't see a whole lot of route divergence in Game 1, and we're not seeing a whole lot in Game 2. And we saw a cape, so we might see something on Bumper Ledge.
Well, that would make sense because that's where you would do the north route after the south route. Cape is going to give you what you need.
Thank God. Who's going? Let's see. I wonder if it's gonna be a catfish check, a pyramid check. Don't know that you go into. I wouldn't go into pod. It's a pendant dungeon. At least not with other options available to you right now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely would be an aggressive play, and they're not looking for that many items. Like they have dungeons they can fully clear. Though we've seen so many seeds recently where, Catfish has absolutely devastated the runners. So
Absolutely.
just get it out of the way psychologically.
Yeah, 2 very good runners gotten knocked out because of Catfish last night. So, yeah. Who's saying that's not happening to me? I'm going to go here right now.
Yeah, we did a little divergence there. Lynn doing the Bombos tablet, not waiting to integrate it with Swamp or anything else, just gets Bombos done as a one-off. But looks like he is continuing on for the standard southern route.
Okay, what does Catfish have for us today?
Mitts probably, flippers.
Heart container.
It is a full heart container though, so it's still something.
Yeah. I mean, it's a decent enough that you don't feel as bad. Say if it was a piece of heart or money or something like that, still.
So
At least he doesn't have to worry about it later.
Sorry, I was gonna say I actually do like the route that Voosh is taking here because this lets him do the Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb.
Yep.
As well as check the Bumper Cave and then go into the Village of Outcasts without a save and quit. And you can always do the southern checks from the north. You just can't go the other way around. So it's actually a pretty heads up play.
Yeah,
especially
I like this
getting the cape. I wonder if the cape changes that at all because you can do the Bumper Ledge.
Maybe. I mean, because you can always scout it even if you don't actually have the cape. Okay, King's Tomb just with some rupees. Meanwhile, Lynn doing a whole lot of digging in the dig game. And
Come on, Steve.
The dig game digging out the shovel. But at least he's right here. He can go ahead and mirror and do that right away. That'll save Voosh a little bit of time because he'll probably he'll do the Stumpy check at the same time as the dig spot check.
Well, this actually
going
seems,
north to south.
Yeah, this seems pretty fair because Voosh had to backtrack 2 times earlier, so now Lynn actually gets the backtrack once.
Oh, and we're gonna get a pet check. So we're gonna know right away.
Yeah, okay. And powder on the cape was blocking powder.
Oh, the ultra, one of those ultra fetch quests. But at least it's powder and cape. At least those items have other uses outside of their fetch quests. Unlike, say, shovel or mushroom. And pet is dead. It's just couch cash. Move along.
Yeah, we actually don't need any more money, and definitely not couch cash.
No, not at all.
There's a pretty good chance that we can just all together skip Ice Palace. That would be a nice treat.
Oh, absolutely. We are going to get the flippers, so that's that's one of those things where if Ice and Swamp are pendants, then you don't want to see flippers because, if I don't see flippers, I just can't go there.
Yeah, even in this seed, you want basically go mode flippers, so you can just you can skip Ice and then skip everything in Swamp that you don't have to.
Yeah, flippers would be a very nice go mode item for this seed. And we do get the early Skullwoods die from Voosh. So far, just gets a small key from the middle. Can't go to the back until he has Fire Rod.
Yeah, this is another fairly standard play that I've seen so many people make. That
is a gold sword. We have less than 40 minutes. All our swords. No bow, so might still have to do Silverless, but everything's going to be very easy to kill.
Yeah, this is such a generous seed.
More money! Just bombs in the big chest in Skull Woods. More rupees, but not nearly as many on the second check of Thieves Town. That's 2 items already in the front.
I think we've actually seen all the 300 rupees, so might not
I
be
think
that
we
much
have.
money
I'm
left.
not sure how many there are, but I know there's not that many.
I think there are 6 of them, but I could be wrong.
Okay,
That's for a
so
normal seed. This seed maybe there's like 10.
I don't know. We do see a map there, and of course the big key in the front of Thieves Town. So the back will have 2 more items.
That's pretty
And
nice.
since-
Come in here. Sorry.
Yeah, and since we do have the hammer, no worries of leaving one behind. Okay, Voosh gonna no doubt follow Lynn into Thieves Town. Gonna probably do these Village Outcast checks. It looks like he didn't get to all of them, but not having that gold sword doesn't make a huge difference in Thieves Town. Certainly doesn't make a difference in the blind fight, since it doesn't matter whether you have fighter sword or gold sword or hammer or whatever. It's still 3 hits per round.
Yeah, we're still missing a lot of items at this point. I think the fire source
Well,
is probably
there's
the
one
thing
of
that I
them.
want to see the most. Yeah.
We just got mitts. I guess that's the French vanilla mitts location.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's in the same dungeon.
We will need a fire rod for both Turtle Rock and for Skull Woods. We do need flippers for Swamp. And we'll need a cane for Meyer and TR. And we might need ether, we don't know.
Yeah, we definitely still need a bow.
And we still need a
for gas power.
Well, the bow
Well,
is an issue.
officially.
We don't. Yeah, logically we do need a bow, but logically we also need a lamp, and we may not ever see that. The bow is an interesting one because there is a way to clip through the mimics. For those of you that may have watched the SG qualifiers back in August, that was not allowed at that time, but it has since been approved and is allowed now. So if either one of these runners knows how to do that clip, they may not need the bow, depending on if there's anything on Helmasaur. We know there's nothing on Armos Knights because we saw all 3 items in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I remember back in like previous tournaments, I would always say that getting the bow from Uncle was probably the best weapon because it was only needed in Ganon's Tower, Eastern, and then Helmsaur, so it could be in so many locations. But You're right, in this particular seed, if they know that glitch, they might not even need it. And I've never seen a bowless seed, so that'd be a treat.
Yeah, I've seen the clip done, but that was by a runner just trying to do a little bit of swag after being a little bit behind in the race. So.
It's definitely new, and it's not particularly common because I mean, how often does that really apply? So I don't think it's safe to say that both runners even know the trick.
No, not safe at all. It just doesn't come up that often. But that bow could be in the basement of GT, so we might have a big key search and a bow search.
But not
and a cane of
search.
some power. Yeah. Oh wow. So do you just go do Meyer now? I mean, assuming it's not ether.
So,
we have flute, we have mitts.
yeah. With Voosh's route, I definitely like the idea of doing the Smith's chain and doing digging game and all the other overworld checks, just because there's so many in line.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. And we do potentially need a fire source for Meyer as well, because a couple of torch rooms, two chests that may or may not be needed.
Yeah, this particular seed, I feel like progression's gonna be hiding in Pendant Pod. Like it just feels like it has to be that way.
Yeah, that's another thing that's come up a lot. The Pendant Pod play and the items that we see there. But with flute, mirror, boots, we can do all these things, do the whole Smith's chains very efficiently. And we even have, oh wait, no, Lynn does not have powder yet. Voosh will have powder to even put that into the mix.
So I was I just realized I was saying that Voosh isn't going to have to do any backtracking when they get the shovel, but they are going to have to. I'm thinking that no, they're not going to backtrack for the smith. I was wondering if they could throw it off. That cleaner blind fight there. The boss not getting it down to the bottom.
Okay, Lynn does pick up the purple chest. Has mirrored, so probably gonna flute.
So if Powder does have a progression item, and Lynn does go north to do Graveyard Legend Bumper, which wouldn't be uncommon, that's quick to turn in because that's just Overworld Light World, fortunately.
Just bombs in the purple chest though. Voosh about to get a gold sword. And Lynn gonna go ahead and flute on over to the mire area. At the very least, gonna scout out whether this is ether or not. And went so quickly that I missed it.
So that was Quake. So they have everything.
We have access.
They need. We have access.
We have potentially everything.
What could we be missing? I mean, the
Fire.
lamp, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I am confident that these runners will be able to do the Mire Dark Room, but I don't know that there's a way around the torches. So depending where the big key is, they may or may not be able to finish.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mire is not worth dipping, I think. Oh, Jesus!
Never mind.
What the?
Okay, now we definitely do Mire right now.
Can you clip an entire race? Is that possible?
Wow. And Lynn menus right to that Quake, is gonna head on in. Makes the decision easy.
Lynn finds Fire Rod and Checkerboard as Voosh finds the shovel in the jig game. That's a nice sync. So I do want to see what's on the powder, because that was a weird, cave led to ledge, led to powder fetch quest. So it's probably going to lead to mushroom.
That would be that definitely is not what you want to see.
No, but it's what I think feels appropriate for this seed.
It kind of does. And we are going to see that powder check. Voosh already switching over to the hammer. And there's the lamp!
just in case we didn't find the Fire Rod. It's a backup progression.
Oh, and unfortunately it just bombs at the magic bat, so no advantage there for Voosh.
God Mire with the big key in the first room there. Lynn just going straight to the boss, hoping for at least an item here. Might not ever come back here for the second item.
Yeah, that's the question. Is he going to come back if the item is not on Vidi? And Voosh is going to walk with that chest a little bit because he still has to do a few other things here.
Yeah, Voosh did the digging game and got that shovel, so this will be a nice opportunity to finally not backtrack for something. So just looking at this, I mean, assuming that if we didn't need the bow logically, this would be Flip's go mode potentially. Am I looking at that right?
I believe, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we can do TR. assuming the TR is not ether.
Right, of course. Definitely a good point. And this is such a freaking easy Vitreous fight with the cape and the gold sword. Vitreous got one lightning out. That's more than I even expected.
I think that's even faster than you can do it with silver, so... And just a key, so the question, of course, do we go back in? Looks like he's got that mirror out, so I suspect he's at the very least going to do finish up Desert. There's no better time to do it than now.
I mean, you can full clear Desert, Turtle Rock, finish up Skullwoods. It seems to me like there's enough opportunity to find the flippers in a dungeon you're clearing.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Voosh, I think that the difference here is he did that early Skullwoods dip. Didn't really get anything out of it. Lynn may be able to go straight to the back there. Probably will go straight to the back. We do know there. I believe Voosh got one item, and it wasn't anything useful, so there may still be an item on the back.
Yeah, there's some overworld checks that Voosh has done, like the bumper ledge and the graveyard ledge and the King's Tomb. But if Lynn finds the flippers, then those are checks that we're not going to have to see.
Nope. Again, depending on... Honestly, at this point, I don't look for the bow, even if I can't do that clip. I'm going to just go into GT with that and hope it's there. It's not as bad as, say, a hook shot or missing, because you're going to be able to get the big key no matter what. Or as we saw in a race earlier this week, where it was the cane that was blocking the big key, and the two runners had to go find that. In this case, it's just the bow. The bow won't stop them until they start climbing up the tower. So they will be able to get the big key, and then if it's not down there in the basement, then they just go start searching.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, hoping for a progressive bow in Ganon's Tower isn't quite as good as hoping for a progressive sword, but the runners still have Turtle Rock chests, which are almost always all the chests. Anything that's in line and swamp. So there's a lot of other chests that they will be checking, and the worst case scenario, they full clear Ganon's Tower. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's like for swamp, I think I would do everything but left side. In TR is not a great go mode dungeon anyway, so checking everything in TR makes a lot of sense. But I don't think I'd start dipping into pendant dungeons for it.
Oh no, definitely not. It's just that there's enough dungeon chests remaining even before Ganon's Tower where they might get a bow. No reason to do any more overworld or pendant dungeons if we find the flippers.
Exactly, and Voosh going to do the opposite and do Desert first and then do Mire, I suspect. We'll see if he decides to do check the last item. It looks like Lynn is just going to leave it behind. And it looks like he's going to do the Turtle Rock play.
And so Voosh could potentially not get the lamp if he just checks the right room first instead of the bridge, and then goes to the boss. Possible?
Yep. It's possible. They'll lose him a little bit of time since they'll have to do the dark rooms, but like I said, I'd be shocked if they couldn't do it. Anybody in the top 128, let alone the top 64, should be able to do dark rooms.
Yeah, I totally agree. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would definitely be a minor inconvenience.
Yep.
So Lynn opening up the Turtle Rock entrance here. This will be our first look to see what the medallion is. If this is Quake or Bombos, I imagine he'll just immediately go in. There's no other items that we need, so no need to check Super Bunny.
Oh, it's Ether. Oh.
All right. Ether and Super Bunny Cave.
It's a curveball.
Or Hookshot Cave. Ether's going to be right here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and Ether is the second worst, or I should say a medallion search is the second worst go mode search, because it can be anywhere but the dungeon it's blocking. And of course GT.
I was confused there for a second because I was trying to figure out, like, what does Ether block that the other two medallions don't?
Yeah, the only thing worse is the ice rod hunt. Yeah, we're at least not going to get that, but of
2 more
course,
chests for ether.
this has got to be ether, right?
1 more. It's gotta be ether.
No,
Oh,
it's not. Okay, so Lynn can't do Turtle Rock. I suspect this could be. I go to Skull Woods. You might as well get that last crystal. You know you can get. Or oh no, he's just gonna flute out of here. A lot of runners like to start in the mountain and flute out of there. Kind of a nice way to do it because you're right at that end, at that exit, and then just play and you can get a refill and you have the flute. Voosh, in the meantime, gonna do Mire.
Sorry. So I was just saying this is really interesting because we were basing a lot of our predictions on the fact that the next obvious play would be a full clear of Turtle Rock, but they're locked out of Turtle Rock and locked out of Swamp Palace. Their best options for getting items. So I'm trying to think of like, are we back to one-off locations at this point?
Oh, we may be. I mean, Lynn's going to go ahead and clear Skull Woods. I suspect Voosh will also go ahead and do that, possibly before, possibly after getting the bad news about TR.
Yeah, so Voosh is getting the lamp. It'll be interesting if Voosh stays in this dungeon looking for the second item. That could be what we're looking for. Although I think, like I said, we don't have that many locations left. So if it is Mire blocking progression, Lynn's going to come back here pretty soon.
Well,
I mean,
not going to check. I mean, we could check ice with fake flippering, but that's not going to have the flippers. It could have the ether could have the ether, but I can't imagine you would check that before you'd exhaust everything that isn't flipper blocked.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I just mentally ruled out all the pendant dungeons for some reason.
Pod is another one.
I
mean, how many times this tournament have we seen progression in Pod? It's not uncommon.
I don't know why I was mentally last locationing like this one Mire check, but I was.
Oh, I know if I'm Lynn, I'm last location that Mire check.
Well, we were talking about only needing the flippers and then like skipping the bow, so I just had mentally crossed out the pendant dungeons at that point. But everything changed with ether. This is a great seed. I mean, it's linear, but it's fun.
Okay, just accomplice on Moth. So at this point, I think if you're Lynn, you have to go check for the other items in Skull Woods.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw. Did we see any items on Voosh's side?
I want to say I thought he got some bombs in the big chest. I think we've seen one item.
Because I just saw Lynn doesn't have the big key, so I mean, so he hasn't done anything.
No. Thankfully, he does have the mirror to get out of this spot because trying to death warp out of this part of the dungeon when you have 12 hearts, blue mail, not the most fun thing. And that's the second item, but Lynn doesn't know that, so he'll keep looking until he gets those bombs.
Okay, but we know, so we have to think about where to go next. And I think Pod does make a lot of sense now. It's just as far as item density and this without having those flippers, ice just seems silly.
Yeah, like I said, ice could theoretically have that ether medallion, but it can't have flippers, and we do need flippers now. If it was switched, if ice was your crystal and swamp was your pendant, then absolutely I would go do ice right now because you don't need the flippers to get into ice. You can absolutely just fake flipper over there.
Yeah, the thing though is if the flippers are blocking ether, then there's really no value in having ether because you know the flippers aren't going to be in Turtle Rock. So you might as well like find the flippers first. And then in that case, ice is kind of a pointless check.
Yeah.
The Voosh going up to the mountain. We're going to see the same 6 checks up here, and then also be locked out of Turtle Rock. I'd be shocked if they just don't do the exact same thing. Finish off Skull Woods. and then mystery locations.
Yeah. Lin also has those North Dark World checks to go to. I would assume that he would route those in after Pod if Pod doesn't have what he's looking for. And did we see Voosh go back into Meyer? Because I don't think we did.
No, we didn't. And Lynn also still has the catfish as well because we did all the
Catfish, Graveyard,
Yeah.
King's Tomb. And it looks like he might go do those first into Pod. Also, we haven't seen... Oh, sees the powder, is going to go grab it. Knows that could lead to an item.
Murderdactyl can't stand up the butter sword.
But like I said, at least with powder, it has other uses than the fetch quest. It's what I like to call my favorite luxury item. Nothing you need to beat the game unless there's something at that magic bag, but it's so nice if you're in the middle of Turtle Rock and you're low on health, you just powder an anti-fairy or on your way up Ganon's Tower.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I love the powder. It's probably one of my favorite items, and having infinite health is something...
It's very nice.
That's nice. I'll say no to that.
But yeah, we're going to get a little bit of convergence, I think, in Pod pretty soon. Lynn doing these North Dark World checks, probably going to head into Pod afterwards. Voosh haven't already done them. We'll finish up Skull Woods, no doubt, first, and then head over to Pod, I suspect. Just not a whole lot else to do. And, like we said, Ice Palace just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, totally agree. When I play NMG, I still get the bug net, so I definitely won't mock the powder.
And it looks like Voosh is going to maybe go straight to Pod. Doing the... Let's see, where are we going? Have we gotten the 5-6 crystals? Oh, we have. Oh, doing a pyramid. Doing a pyramid fairy, which also allows him to check the pyramid.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Voosh did do the pyramid, but not the pyramid fairy, obviously.
Right.
So this be 2 checks for them, but it'll be 3 for Lynn though, because Lynn hasn't been over there at all. And
Lynn wants to check that powder right away. Not gonna be happy with what he finds.
Don't blame him though. You find it, you have to turn it in right away.
Is gonna orphan catfish, but we know that's nothing in this case. And even if it wasn't, he could easily do that right after Pod.
This is a great time to do this pyramid fairy check though. 2 items on the way to Pod. It's a little bit slower than fluting over there, but this is the most efficient time to route this in. And we're looking for...
Oh, there's a bow!
There's a bow! Oh, I was hoping for the double bow.
You know what? That would probably be a first, since V31 is new with the progressive bows.
I feel so sad we only got 1 bow.
Well, we're not going to see Eastern finish because we know Voosh, I believe, was the one that checked Ped and knows that he doesn't need to worry about that. You might see, and we also know that all the items have been gotten out of Eastern. But he might decide to finish up Pod because that is the green pendant. So there is 1 extra check.
That makes a lot of sense. I could definitely see that. Lynn following in Voosh's footsteps, doing this big bomb. We're also going to get to see the pyramid check from Lynn's side.
Yep.
But once they find that bow, I don't imagine we're going to ever see that catfish. This is going to be right in the Pod.
Nope. Going for the bomb dupe. And looks like he got it.
A little bit too good on the bomb dupe. extra transition, the safety transition.
Yeah, I've seen a few runners in this tournament mess that up, so let's just be glad it worked out.
We always get the God mode Pod when we don't need any items.
Well, that's the way the randomizer works.
Or we never get the God mode when we don't need items, rather.
Of course. Now, if you find one of these items, ether or flippers, do you leave or do you keep going and hope in case the other item is here too?
That's a really tough call.
It really is.
If you found, you know what? I think you're in this dungeon. I think you just keep going.
I think I might be a little more likely to leave if it's flippers. Just because 6 items in swamp. You're not climbing all the way up the mountain to get there, and we've already done. I mean, I've lost track of how many times these guys have run up that mountain. But I think if I find ether, I definitely full clear.
So I was thinking, you said flippers. Did you mean ether or did you mean flippers?
No, I mean if I find the flippers, I might go ahead and do swamp and leave. Just because just that extra, all these climbs up the mountain,
Yeah. All right. So I follow what you're saying. So I actually think I would do the opposite because if you find ether, well, your Turtle Rock is like almost always a flipper anyway.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So you can kind of justify it, but yeah, either way, it's definitely a gamble, and that's the one thing that you always have to think about when you're doing these heads up matches is you have to at some point say I'm going to skip a location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it also might depend on just how far deep into the dungeon I get. And there is that ether. And let's see what Voosh decides to do.
Looks like he's going to continue. A lot of time out of that.
I mean, at the very least, you're going to check that next chest. And it looks like he is going to continue.
Just like the game. Finally get something to start talking about, and it just gives us the item.
Yeah, but it was this is really the first more trolly location that we've seen today.
Yeah, this
some red mail.
This was like the first thing that wasn't immediately in our path.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I thought we were going to go into Hookshot Cave and find that ether. And there's the flipper. So now we're going to get a mirror out. And so we'll see if Lin makes the same decision, and hopefully he does, because otherwise he's gonna have to come back here.
Yeah, prior to Palace of Darkness, like the biggest inconvenience we had was like backtracking from race game to activate the flute.
Yeah. And with that bow, we don't even have to worry about the mimic clip. So.
Yeah, I run 5 minutes in is surprisingly good for where they're at.
Yep. And we do have, we have go mode on Voosh's side, and we'll see if Lin gets his go mode. It's going to be tempting for him to leave after that ether. Let's see if he does.
Yeah, that would be very unfortunate, but not implausible though.
No, like not at all.
A few minutes ago, you have to make gambles.
Not implausible and very defensible. Absolutely, it's not a bad play to do that. It just in this case, that won't be the right one if he does.
Yeah, you have to make gambles, and sometimes they will lose you the race, and sometimes they are what you have to do.
Well, and to be fair, it's a gamble either way. I often hear that it's the safer play to continue to full clear, but I don't buy that because, look how close these guys are. It's not the safer play. It is a different play because the time spent clearing out this dungeon, for instance, if it wasn't there, is time lost that maybe your opponent didn't do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And that's something that you really have to keep in mind. Like, so when you're doing a 1v1 versus just a weekly or a casual,
yep,
or being able to, or even a qualifier, yeah, just being able, put in those races, your goal is to be efficient in getting everything done. And these, you just have to beat one other person, not 20 other people. So finishing in the top 2 doesn't help.
Yeah. Whereas, even say a qualifier, you finish in that top 3, you're part of that part of that mean average.
Exactly.
In which case, then then the safe play does become to continue to check things. But 1v1, you don't know what your opponent's done. So we're gonna fight. The moment of truth is coming. Lin's gonna get that ether, and let's see what he does. He's gonna continue at least to one more. Okay, it hasn't mirrored out, so it looks like he's gonna continue on and get those flippers. It's still going to be a little bit behind, so this could come down to a big key location.
Lin has Skullwoods done already, so that's a little bit of time.
Oh, yeah, good point.
He's got banked.
Yeah, Voosh does have to go Skull Woods, and yeah, that's gonna put us really, really close going into Turtle Rock. Could be a really exciting finish.
Yeah, this was the only opportunity really the entire race for one of these runners to make us not a bad move gamble wise, just a bad move based on the knowledge that we have, and both runners made what we know to be the right choice. So it's going to be super close.
Yeah, I'm really glad they both made the same choice. I'd hate to have either way. I'd hate to have it come down to one of them making the different choice and it being the wrong one.
Especially with a fairly linear seed to get an item and then immediately bail out. It's always it's an unfortunate way to lose the race, but it's actually a pretty common way to lose a race.
And of course, now we get to go mode Swan, which is a really nice feeling.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, Voosh looks like he's a full dungeon ahead, but Lin does have to go. Voosh has to go clear Mothula still.
Which, to be fair, is going to be very, very quick, and you won't have to do any more checks. We do know the item was under the bridge, so.
Yeah, Voosh might be like 30 seconds ahead. We'll definitely have some notice, like when they converge in Turtle Rock. It'll be clear who's ahead, at least as of Turtle Rock. Voosh leaving, Lin entering.
Yeah.
Well, high five.
Yep. Okay, heading over to 3. He's been in Skull Woods before, so just glad not forgetting it.
Yeah, the early dip didn't yield any progression.
Nope. Okay, Voosh gonna make his way over. Doesn't have to grab any keys, which is nice since he's already been here. Let's see if Lin even decides to check any of the chests along the way. Probably not. I mean, the only thing he could find at this point that would be of any use would be some silver arrows, which would be a really nice find, but I can't see going any further out of the way than perhaps the chest in the waterfall room. Silverless Ganon being another one of those things that you just don't make it out of even qualifications if you can't do it, so. And with Gold Sword, pretty darn easy. And Voosh about to head into that Mothula fight. Won't take him long with that Gold Sword. Also, mixing in some Fire Rod shots.
The spikes are more of a threat than the boss in this particular fight. Once you have red mail.
Okay, Voosh actually maybe a little bit ahead here, finishing up Mothula before Lin's gonna finish up Argus here.
Yeah, we're talking like a 30-second difference here, though, because they're both going to Turtle Rock.
This is definitely a big key route diversions away from Elite Change, and there are a few very minor things you can do in Turtle Rock depending on the key layout that could also make a difference.
Yeah, we could see a player, skip the big chest and hope that there's a key on Laser Bridge. There usually is, but every once in a while there isn't, and that results in a very bad backtrack.
I've heard numbers is and of course you could get blocked by a dead rock.
Dead rock, yeah.
But yeah, to your point about the big chest, you could I believe the number is about 2%. I don't know if that's actually correct. That's just a friend of mine has said that to me, so please correct me if I'm wrong. That you get locked out that way, but we've seen it in this tournament, so
Yeah,
it has happened.
It's not just the number of chests. Like the key logic changes things,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it is pretty low. So one thing I'll say is, at this point in the tournament, especially where it's this close, I normally like to speculate out if the runners think they're ahead or behind, and I almost always say, for one reason or another, that they feel they're behind. But with this particular seed, especially with the heads up pod play, I think they both probably feel they're really far ahead. What do you think? I mean, we haven't had any deaths. We've gotten everything we needed.
We have red mail. We have gold sword. I mean, we got comfort items.
I think they feel very comfortable with their yeah.
And I'm going to mention this right now before, since we're just starting 12 Rock and we are going to start getting to GT very soon, a reminder that the bot is working, so please don't spam those numbers until we start the game.
And feel free not to spam them after we start the game either.
That's true too.
Ah, Twitch chat.
Well, to be fair, some of those numbers aren't going to work for the bot anyway, so... Unlike other people, other commentators, I don't particularly care if you want to, put a funny number in there. Go ahead and put those pies and those imaginary numbers. I'm good.
So Voosh, maybe we'll get to see some nice swag here in the chain chomp room. It's my favorite opportunities when you...
Yeah, this is a terrible room. So it's always nice to see runners do it well.
My favorite is runners who will do a boots dash and kick the block into place.
I love the block kicking. Like I don't know, I'm sure the animation doesn't actually change it. Literally, when I see the kicking, it just literally looks like kicking. It's like you imagine the foot actually going out.
Yeah, I'm sure the sprite developers will come in the chat and tell us that there is no kick animation. But I don't care. I call it the block kick. So Voosh, not going for the vanilla big key chest there.
Nope.
The only thing that could be that would have any value would be a small key. So be trading a key for a key.
Did we not get the big key yet? Because that's the only reason to go here.
Oh, yeah, or the big key. That's needed.
And yep, that would be, and actually that could be a crucial bit of time as close as this race is.
It always happens when I look away for a minute.
So true.
But yeah, that was like maybe a good 10 seconds time lost, and it actually makes a difference at this point.
Actually, chat making a good point. All this time we haven't seen a shield yet. Not that we care, but it's definitely pretty unusual to get this far and not have even the Fisher Price shield.
Yeah, I like the prim red mail sprite. It's like she went from like casual wear to formal wear with the red mail.
And both gonna go for the both playing it safe and gonna open the big chest. Just a piece of heart. Interesting that they both end up doing that.
This has been a race where we've seen a ton of them making the exact same plays at almost the exact same time. I think it's standard mode.
I mean, we've had little minor bits of route diversions, but I think the biggest route divergence we really had was when Voosh decided to do all the North Dark World checks before going into Thieves Town, and Lynn going from the south to the north towards the village.
Yeah, I mean, chat can correct me if I'm wrong. That's kind of goes without saying, but I think their item counts might even be exactly the same at this point.
It's if it's not, it's gonna be awfully close. And look how synced they are, just barely off going into Laser Bridge, and they will have to find a key. Let's see if they do the same order of key checks here.
They're at the point where you have to actually look at the in-game timers to see if they're synced.
And a bug net for the first chest. And a piece of heart. Look, that sync is amazing. I know. Oh, Lynn decided to go to the last one, and there's a shield. Which Lynn's not going to get because he got the key in the last chest there.
Lynn having a little bit of problem on the bridge, but gets to save a chest and ends up coming out ahead.
And not sure who's actually going to enter Ganon's Tower first, but a reminder, the game will go based on the first person to go in there.
Oh gosh, I've never had a Ganon's Tower entry tie.
Me neither.
What did we do?
I had an actual tie in this tournament, but not a Ganon's Tower entry tie.
With the ping and admin ask what the bot rules are if they enter at the same time.
Well, it only matters if they take different routes. We've seen them not doing that very often.
Exactly. What are the odds they'll take different routes? Nice. Perfect try next for Lynn. And Voosh got a little further, but not bad.
Okay, get the heart at 120.44. And 4 seconds apart. That's what I'm seeing. Wow.
Yeah, so you actually got the comma tie.
I did. It was Koi versus Ace Zero. No, I am not good enough to play in this tournament. It was Koi versus Ace Zero in Game 3 of their group match. Was a tie. Absolutely amazing match. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to go with Lynn. We're going to go GT guessing game on his side.
With a whole 3-second lead. Gosh, imagine if one of them didn't have the bow at this point.
Oh, I'm really glad that they both have the bow. If it was both and not have the bow, that'd be okay, but no, not.
Yeah,
this is too close for that. Okay, Lynn decides to go straight to the left side. Voosh going straight to the right side. And number one is just the container heart on the torch. And some half magic for Voosh, so that'll be nice for him. And he's going to go right back up.
So they went different ways, so you have to keep track of this.
I'm actually using my fingers. It'll happen. Okay, 2 is a little small key, and number 3.
Oh, that was easy. I usually open up a calculator and do like 1 + 1 so I can just keep hitting enter. But I didn't even have a chance. They were too fast.
Yep, and Wildfire being our winner with the first guess of 3. We're just gonna be a little bit more behind now because of because he checked that went to the right side first. Does have the advantage of half magic, which probably doesn't come into play. I believe both runners have at least 1 blue bottle in their inventory. But this is
and
going to
with
come down
having-
to execution. You're still awfully close here.
Yeah, half magic, I mean, that can definitely make a difference if you don't have the lamp and you're using all fire rod shots, but with the lamp, it's much less of a concern. Voosh have some trouble with the mimics there. Definitely lost a few seconds.
Yeah, that's a tough room to lose time in. Actually, it's an easy room to lose time in. It's tough when it happens.
that's a very important clarification. Lynn's having a pretty smooth gauntlet so far. Room 3 is my favorite there. Nice positioning on the red Zyrax. Nice fourth room too.
Oh, nice. Oh my god, that was a beautiful land moles there with two quick sword spin and another quick sword slash.
I've never seen the Lambo that was a spin and a fire rod and a slash.
That
I
was
killed
awesome.
them all on the same frame.
And going through the wizard rooms, a couple of my favorite rooms. Those Canis and Mario strats.
I got to see that without the cane the other day. That was a treat. Voosh
don't
doing
see
the
that
more
very often.
traditional, more standard Lambo there. Nice execution, but not as cool. Lynn gets the swag points for that Lambo fight.
Oh, absolutely.
So Lynn's got a good 3 rooms at this point lead.
Yeah, and with Gold Sword Silverless, there's a little bit of execution in the Ganon fight that can make a difference. Being able to get those silverless spins very well, but not a huge amount. And Lynn not checking anything on the way up. We'll find out from Ganon where our silvers were. Probably an ice palace or something dumb like that.
Yeah, execution could definitely make a difference though. The ability to get, I mean, just assuming they don't one cycle phase 2, which they probably will both. The difference in getting 2 spins versus 3 spins in phase 4 that can save a whole cycle. And if this is a game 2, so if Lynn wins, we're done. If Voosh wins, then we do get one more game, and Lynn currently has the lead by a good minute.
And as close as this one is, wow.
Only got a single there.
Voosh did check that last chest. Just some rupees.
And the 0 cycle, or not 0 cycle, 0. Oh, close double. All right, that wasn't the best Aga fight, so Voosh could definitely save a little of time here.
Nice double to start off.
His Aga positioning is pretty lousy. It's like the identical Aga cycle. Alright, gotta fight for Lynn. Six hits for the first and second phases. No trouble at all with the gold sword.
Oh, nice positioning here for that second round.
You can even casually do the dash strats when you only need 6 hits.
I was about to say he might need to watch his health a little bit, but I just saw that fairy in a bottle, so...
I'll say the same thing. Even the commentators are in sync today.
There you go.
So Lin entering phase 4. And ours were in Ganon's tower.
They were in Ganon's
Sounds like a
tower.
torch
Who
glitch,
knows
just a
where?
torch glitch.
Yeah, that torch glitch also could have been a difference maker, but no problem there.
2 slashes in. Voosh is in phase 3. So Lin is taking this careful, just going for 2 hits per cycle. Conserving magic. And Voosh entering phase 4 now. Also gets a torch glitch.
Really, both being in the final phase again at the same time. But at this point, it's just going to be really hard for Voosh to make up that time. Lin not having any trouble with this Ganon fight. And there it is.
12 slashes for Lin. Get your GGs in.
Finishing with an official SRL time of 1:29:30. GG's to Linlinlin. And congratulations, moving on to the round of 32.
Very impressive. And almost done phase 4 for Voosh's side. So definitely we'll wait to get them both in at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
For like 2 spins to go. Maybe 1 spin. Oh! Oh, get the fairy still. Because we were like 1 spin away.
That would have been a bad way to end this. Glad he had that fairy. We'll be able to finish this out. And there it is.
Wouldn't be surprised if that death came right at the same time. So the dot don maybe threw him off a little bit. It's very tense when you see that in a Ganon fight.
Yeah, and finishing up in second place with a 1:30:43, just over a minute behind. GG's to Voosh for a very well played race. And welcome in Linlinlin into the commentary stream, and Voosh. Congratulations, guys. That was quite the race.
Hello, GG, Voosh.
GG, Lin. Good job.
I mean, we were having to guess who was going to be even doing the big key guessing game. Which one of you, as you, Lin, you were entering, your circle of crystals was finishing up as Voosh's started. So that's how close you were.
Why?
But yeah, I guess the only thing that I really wonder about, so it became pretty obvious that Pod had to be the play at some point, and you both got in there at about the same time and found Ether, and of course, and then fortunately you both stayed in there and found those flippers. Was it tempting at all to just leave with that Ether?
Kinda.
I would have if I didn't already go up and check Dark Death and like seen that nothing was up there. So like it was less checks. I was already in Pod. I wasn't going to Helma for sure though at that point.
Oh sure.
Same. I mean, you're still checking the Dark Maze, but I don't think you're going to Helma at all. But yeah, checking the Dark Maze, like I think Ether was like our second item, and I think it was actually our first item.
It was in the rupee basement, and I think it was the first one in there. Yeah, for both of you.
So you still have 4 items in there, and like they're literally just there in the Dark Maze. No reason not to check them, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. And I was speculating that you'd gone up the mountain so many times, both of you. I lost track.
Okay.
Oh
Okay, I mean, I'll tell Voosh what happened, but after saving the old man, I actually fluted, but the cabbage just made me miss the bird, and I was like, screw this, I'm climbing. Because like, it takes an extra second to actually call the bird back, so it was like, whatever.
But then you also still had to go back and get the hammer. Voosh already had the hammer and was able to go up, but he did Spiral Cave before Tower Hera, so it almost was a wash because he still ended up going back up.
Oh yeah, it was just painful. That whole sequence of events, going into Eastern, finding the book. I'm like, oh good, I can just go into desert. I'm gonna find a fire source. I'm gonna have Pyramid Fairy access. No, you're going
No.
back up the mountain.
I mean, deep inside I knew it was, especially with all the swords, that it was gonna be Ether Tablet, but you wanted like the hope of not climbing again, so you're just
Yes.
going to desert. But inside you already know.
Oh yeah, deep down it was a sad realization for sure.
I had to throw something. Like everything just kept running in your path. Like we would say, well, if this such and such thing is there, and then you would, you know.
Oh yeah. The worst, someone just brought it up in chat actually, was leaving Kakariko at the beginning, finding the bottles, like, oh, I'll
Yep.
just go back really quick and turn in the bottle.
Yep.
Like, going back, and the flute's down there too.
Yep.
Bomb the sick
Why?
kid.
I wanted to. I checked Trace game before going back to the north, so I didn't have that problem.
I was almost tempted just to not go back actually after I turned the bottle in. Like I was just gonna save and quit, so I might not have found the flute for quite a while.
Yeah, and that bottle turn didn't really get you much, so it's probably good that you did go back and get that flute.
I mean, the good thing about all those mountain trips is basically that we had hammer and glove and everything, and even checked Spiral Cave, so we didn't have like after getting the Moon Pearl, first play you do Spike Cave, like kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, that was a nice. At least that was the nice part of the sequence of events.
Well, and how nervous were you when you both checked that ether tab that was going to be a lamp leading you up to Aga for a pyramid moon pearl?
No, that wasn't in my head at all. No,
Really?
no, that wasn't happening.
I actually didn't mind. Like, had the lamp been there, you can complete desert. I would have actually killed Lanmo before going to do Aga, and then like the first play you do in the Dark World is actually Pyramid Fairy. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's smart. That's really smart. I like that.
That's why I didn't mind if it was a lamp, but like I didn't really care if it was a lamp or not. Because like the reason I started High Cave and went like, especially with Almir, I started High Cave and went towards the in game. It's just like with that mirror, I can do K45, all those checks, even bomb boost out that. But I'm actually looking for a fire source because I want to clear that desert. I'm going in the Dark World. Actually, the first thing I wanted to find was actually a fire source.
Yep. And how about that? And you dug up a shovel.
And then I got mitts, and then I was like, let's go to the Maya area, find the fire rod. Hey, I have a fire source, I can do Maya, and then the lamp is there, and you're like, okay, game.
Yep, pretty much.
And you take the god Maya, of course, because if you don't, like there's no reason to. I don't know if Voosh.
No, neither one of you went for that second item.
Like, you already get an item on the bridge, and you're like, no.
Yeah, I assume both of you would have last location that item if it'd been the answer. So.
100%, yeah. Especially with the first item being the lamp, and like, you're just like, okay, so I have the Samaria too, so it's telling me to go to Vidi, and then that turned out to be nothing. I was like, okay, I think at that point I went to check TR, see if I could get in.
I think
the thing. The TR play kind of felt bad about it midway up there, because like I actually I didn't need the bow for that suit because I can mimic clip. I don't know about Voosh.
Mimic clip, I can't do it.
Oh yeah, that was something we kept talking. We talked about that a lot because you didn't get that bow until really late. Because that mimic clip, we were wondering which one of you could do it. I was glad that you both had the bow. You know, was hoping either both would have it or both wouldn't. And of course, the way you guys ran the seed, that's not really surprising that you both had it. So.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, bow was locking ether and triples anyways, but like midway out there, even though I had 2 medallions, Bombos was actually triples locked in Waterfall Ferry, and I was like,
good point. Yeah, it's probably not gonna be Bombos.
I'm actually like, if it's actually Bombos, the flippers are not in
I
DR.
don't even
So
hear.
what
I
I'm
didn't
doing
think
is
about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. That's a really good point. I totally forgot that's where you got that bombos.
and I was like, that's actually a terrible play because I'm looking for flippers. But it was Ether, so I was like, I didn't feel that bad after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if it'd been Quake, I guess it would have been all good. But yeah.
Yeah, if it was bombos, I was like, and to be fair, if it was actually bombos, I think I would have probably would have surprised chat, but I wouldn't have done TR at all.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, because I completely forgot they were flipping.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, so Lynn, you're going to be going on to face Blaine. How do you feel about that?
Kind of bad.
You can do
when
it!
I tune in
Hey,
the
Andy
stream,
went out yesterday. I mean,
okay,
strange things can happen.
when I tuned in the stream earlier when I was done, I saw he was actually looking, and I think my execution was kind of bad. Like I fell on Moldorm. My TR wasn't the greatest. Like if I play like this against Wayne, I'm not gonna make it. Like I had like top 64 as an objective in this tournament, which I already attained, and now I'm top 32. Like, that's actually great. And everything else is kind of extra. I mean, going against Boyne. Boyne is basically like there are few runners that I'm really scared of in this tournament. One was Bonda that I already faced in groups. and like there are only a few, and Boyne is definitely one of them
he's
as
very
well.
good.
So kind of like this match is kind of scary, but I'm also really excited about it to see. Like I basically practiced for a whole year to qualify for the main tourney, and then now I'm here top 32. So I'm gonna enjoy the tournament and like take any experience I can, especially Boyne is definitely one of the favorite of this tournament, especially with
For
Andy
sure.
out right now. So yeah.
I mean, it'll be a tough one, but it'll be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. And absolutely, congratulations on making it into the next round. And Voosh, congratulations for making it as far as you did. It's a tough field, and you did well.
I'm gonna leave right now because I see I also got restream on the French channel, so I kind of want to say hi.
Yeah. We were told that you're gonna do it. Go say hi in French.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm leaving right now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming, and thank you everything. GG again.
And yeah, I honestly didn't even expect to get top 64. Like I knew coming into it, my execution's a lot weaker than the top players. It gets compounded in these types of races for me too, like 1v1s, because like there's nowhere to hide. Like you're not just trying to see, oh, where am I compared to like 7-10 other racers. Like like it's either you do or you're gone. So I'm glad that Lin won, and I'm just glad I got to the top 64. Like I didn't think I was gonna get past groups in reality.
Well, I hope you do get a chance to watch this back. I know sometimes it's a little rough when you don't come out ahead, but I think you showed pretty well in this one. So it was a lot of fun to do the commentaries. That's the thing that's what I root for. I root for a close match. I don't root for ped seeds or aga seeds or whatever. I don't care if those come up. I like to have a nice close match, and this was an absolute pleasure to commentate. So thank you so much.
You're a blessing. I love your commentaries, so I am going to watch this one back.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But I think that'll be it for us. First of all, it really was a pleasure to you. Thank you so much for joining me on commentary, and absolutely shout outs to our tracker doing the hard work behind the scenes, and that was Duderko. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, and do give these runners a follow if you would, and my co-com and tracker.
Absolutely.
As well as as well as all the speed gaming channels, one speed gaming in 2 through 6, and the link to the past, the ALTTP randomizer channels and ALTTP randomizer, I believe is 2 through 5. So to get all your link to the past randomizer needs, as well as in case of the speed gaming channels, a whole lot of other really good stuff on the channels.
And I'll just add my thanks as well to the runners for putting on a really fun race to watch.
It's a really fun race.
My thanks to Dudark as well for tracking and keeping us honest. It's always a tough job to do. Just looking at the schedule, we have another race on 15 minutes on this channel. Filion versus Walter 4. That's their game too. So you guys stick around for that. And my thanks to Tracy M. Finally got the chance to cook on with you. It couldn't have been a better race.
It was great. I'm so glad we got to do this together.
That's it for me. And I'll see you guys all in 15 minutes in chat.
All right. Yep. Me too.